How did you accidentally get your ex back in bed? I had just broken up with my girlfriend and I was reeling from the fact that she had dumped me for a guy I didn't like, a real jerk. I was at a ball game and saw them across the gymnasium of our high school, coupled up, holding hands. She looked at me, then looked away. He smirked. I got up to leave. It was a good game, but I wasn't into it. I went outside in the cool air. I felt like someone was following me. It was a girl I knew, who was in the class below me, a junior. She was about 18. I will call her Courtney. I thought she was fine, but she wasn't my type. She was too quiet and had a strange way of looking at the world. She was really friendly to me, though, and her best friend told me she liked me. Courtney had caught up with me and asked me why I was leaving. I told her about my ex and her jerk boyfriend. She really seemed to pity me. You know, I can be good company, she said, hopefully. I really looked at her for the first time. She was tall for a girl, almost as tall as me. She had shoulder length, sandy brown hair and freckles. She had a really great smile, with pale blue eyes. I don't know why I didn't notice her before. Suddenly she grabbed my arm and snuggled up to me. As she did, I felt warmth radiating from her body. It felt comforting. I noticed my ex and her BF coming out of the gymnasium. I knew they were following me to annoy me, probably his idea. She said, "Are they following you?" I said, "Isn't it obvious? No one is leaving the game. Let's get them back." She said, "How?" I observed my ex watching Courtney and me carefully. Her brow knitted in a frown. It dawned on me that my new friend had a great idea. "Okay," I said. Courtney mused, "I could pretend to kiss you." "No, that would not work. She would know we are trying to get back at her." Courtney then suggested that we fake me getting a blowjob. I was shocked to hear her say that. She was always so shy. How would we fake it? "We could go to your car and I could drop to my knees and do it." She is bound to believe it. Without another word we walked to my car, holding hands, and she reached over and kissed me in the mouth. Her lips were warm against the now snappy autumn air. I wouldn't mind having those lips somewhere else, I thought. Then I felt guilty because I had never even really noticed her before, and here I was picturing her as a SX object. When we got to her car, we kissed again, to make it look real. I opened the car door. We stood just inside of it. Then she dropped to her knees. She fumbled with the string on my sweats. I looked over to see my ex's mouth gaped open. Her boyfriend was pulling her arm, possibly trying to get her to go back inside. But she wouldn't budge. I knew I had her and really began to relish this unexpected revenge. I leaned my head back and closed my eyes. I made a few noises like I was being pleasured by Courtney. I could see the jerk boyfriend go back inside. My ex had her arms folded and just glared at me. Then, she started toward me. Courtney had been really getting into it, even bobbing back and forth, her head just visible over the car door. She was actually just softly bumping me repeatedly with her mouth. It was starting to feel good. Suddenly, the string on my sweats loosened and my sweats fell. My underwear was no protection against the cold air. My member began to swell with excitement, because I didn't know what Courtney was up to and because my ex was coming. I didn't say anything to Courtney, who pulled my underwear down, looking up to meet my eyes. She looked at my meat, which was now hard enough to nudge her lips. She put her lips on it, giving it a kiss while looking at me. She then put her entire mouth on it. Her warm lips and tongue felt so good. My ex had just reached the car. She stopped in her tracks as I looked over at her through glazed eyes. She looked at Courtney, who was oblivious to her presence. Then, she said softly, "But." Courtney slowly pulled her mouth off of my swollen sausage and said, "Yeah, it feels good to be his butt." She then put her mouth and hand back on me and sucked me deeply while looking straight at my ex. She had a little smile on her lips. "I didn't mean that," my ex said. Then she considered me. "You know, if you want two girls, I'll be happy to share you." I coolly remarked, "You can't share something you no longer possess." She wheeled suddenly and huffed back inside. Courtney sucked me faster until I came in her mouth. I had never finished so much. She could barely hold it all, but her blue eyes were smiling at me as she gulped my seed down. I helped her up and we kissed. Her mouth tasted like me. I pulled my pants up and she tied the string. We walked back into the gym, hand in hand.